In this video, I'm joined by Laze Janev, an independent Dynamics 365 solution architect and AI ERP MVP with over 17 years of experience in business applications. He's also a big part of the community. He's a committee member and speaker at Dynamics Mind. He's a Microsoft certified trainer and someone who's always sharing what he's learning about AI ERP. We talk about how Dynamics is moving from a traditional ERP towards an AI ERP and whether AI is really coming for our jobs. We also discuss how Laze uses Cowork and Copilot to get more done every day. He has a grounded, practical take with some honest advice on getting started, and I hope you will enjoy this conversation as much as I did.
Hi, Tina. Thanks for the invitation. So I am, as you said, Laze Janev. I am MVP D365 FNO, or now what we call it. We call it AI ERP, Tina. I don't know why people still call it FNO. So I am one of the committee members for the Dynamics Minds, this greatest conference in the world, which is held every year on the beach here in Portoro, Slovenia. And of course, I'm one of the speakers at this event, which today we're going to do. Have today's session with Andre, which you already discussed with him, right?
Yes. So tell me about your session. What are you going to discuss?
Right. So our session, we have. There's a backstory of it. I said to Andre, look, I have this idea. Let's create this idea. I will call it Pinocchio. We wanted to call it Pinocchio of how Pinocchio becomes a real boy and how Dynamics actually becomes AI ERP. This transition between lies and growing the noses, and then eventually becomes the real thing. So this whole idea is we want to take, there's a limit of how the session could go, and me and Ander can talk a lot. So the goal is that we want to take you this small journey to history, how Dynamics became, some automations came, and where are we now? What is coming really next around the corner, and what is coming like in the future. Want to see how this evolves and how partners and customers can align their expectations or maybe their futures if they are looking into implementing or improving their business, right?
Yes. So you'll talk about how Dynamics was, kind of
Yes.
how it will become. So what do you think is the biggest change with AI and how the way that people will use and interact with Dynamics will change?
It will change because there are also, I know that you will also talk a little bit about that, but is that Dynamics is not going away. Not any of these apps are like completely going away. What will maybe change is fundamental of how we interact with them. How do we communicate with them? How do we schedule talk? Sometimes how we edit. Do we actually create some customization, or we can use Copilot Cowork to schedule some of our daily business activities for different roles and profiles around the companies. So I think that is something that it will change. It will not be like a sudden jump. It will need some adoption, but for sure, see it for some of my clients that they can really adopt this VA. They can go and use M365 Copilot, Cowork, or a private agent, whatever, and never even open D365 itself as an application and still do their job. Sometimes more effectively, sometimes not. It really depends on the scenarios. But you can interact technically with your ERP even from your mobile without a specific app, if that makes sense. So it's mostly about
It's mostly about the interface that you go into.
well, interface and also different kind of automations and activities that the end goal is to boost performance, to boost performance of stuff that are manual work. So today we talk with Andre about that. Tomorrow I have another session with Aurelian where we talk about AI and development in FNO, which will boost performance. So all of this is not like something is going to completely change, at least not for now, right? There are things going to change, but in the immediate future is that we can boost performance depending either on business or on technical level, without developing any customization. Let's put it that way. With only the tools that are there. So even there, now you can go ahead and rethink your process. Might be some change management of how things are executed, but you can actually execute and be, especially for customers, be upfront. So that can be faster into their decision making, communicate better with their clients, more structured and more interactive way, let's say, and with their vendors, suppliers, right? Depending on the agent that they're using, so they can actually see benefit of all of this.
So when you say boosting performance, you mean of people or of the business processes or everything or the system?
So that's I think both boosting performance of people and of business, because so for client, one of my clients that we implement supplier communication, right? We know that AI, everybody is scared. Am I going to lose my job? Long term, short term answer, probably not at the moment. Long term, maybe. But for now, what I try to show, so my customer, they implement supply communication agent. They implemented it not because they want to cut someone, but because they were not fulfilling, or they were late, or they would need to hire extra someone in order to do a manual work. And there is a limit of how much you can scale of sending emails, communicating, and quitting calls. So this will actually boost the performance of those individuals that they're doing their work. And some of that work can be, it will not sending or drafting all the time emails or collecting data, but be more productive, or orchestrating, organizing their actual job work, and they can execute this manual work of emailing. So that is, I see both. It's a both way. So they boost the performance of their individual work, but also in the business. So they can be both way. But long term, yeah, there will be I think some significant impact.
Okay. You mentioned also change management. I was wondering, do you have any experiences on how to tackle that with AI? Because I think it's always been a problem in implementations, and now the speed of change is just so difficult.
Oh my God, that level is always very difficult, right? Because it's mostly a human aspect. From experience, it looks like it's more business decision. We can prove that something can be improved, right? With a specific engagement. You cannot attack everything at once. That is a very bad idea. But sometimes it's also businesses, they've worked for 20 years this way. Why should we change now? It worked this way. It's skepticism. It needs also on the management, on customer side, management, they say, all right, we need to do some change because it will be faster. It will long term. It will have the benefits of that. I wouldn't say with AI has some benefits. Maybe with Project Mia we can see something. Maybe you can share something about that. I'm hearing different kinds of stories, but I have not had any experience with that in using agents, let's say, on that scope.
Okay, so what you mean is that using agents to replace consultants with configuration, with doing implementations.
Right. Well, change management is not only that. In my view, like when I work directly with customers, those are more technical skills, and you can for sure do that. You can for sure. But it's also the power of improving everyone in our organization, how we're implementing an agent. What will this mean for their role, for which they will doing it for 15, 20 years? And it has not changed. Maybe the system has changed. Maybe they were on another ERP or another application, but their role in the organization have not changed. Now that can significantly change. So that will change also if we want to switch on the other side, like on partner on implementation, for sure there it will switch in the organization as well. Like in partner, I know we all have to switch left, like from technical move to functional, from functional more. There will be a significant change. I know Microsoft, you guys are announcing some cool new things on that level. But on customers, everything that is on a technical topic that can automate of tools, interactions, that will be not a problem. The biggest is usually someone from customer side to come and actually do acceptance of these changes that can come and execute them in the organization, which sometimes can be, depending on the country, can be even legal circumstances. Because depending on which country you are, you have actually in your contract your actual tasks. And now if you need to switch your tasks, it can be it can be difficult.
Yes, I know a lot of companies have worker councils.
Right.
Yes.
So
and yeah,
yes,
especially in Europe, right?
especially
Yes.
I mean Europe, you know,
Yes.
depending where in Europe,
Mhm.
but it can be difficult to even if you like on organizational level, hey, I will actually like to do this. It can be a long legal process, or they have the unions, right? strong unions, so it can be also difficult. And when Microsoft comes on a high level, say, oh, here's how we're going to do it, and I know maybe with some organization when they do it in US it's a little bit easier, but in Europe it's a little bit difficult. So it's not only tools. The tools are here.
Yes.
Those would help, but the ground level it's a little bit more difficult.
Yes. Yeah. I also wanted to ask you, so you're an MVP, so you're doing your day job and then you're doing a lot of community work. And I think that you're doing just more and more. So I assume that you are using AI to boost your own performance. Can you maybe speak to that? So like how you are using AI to...
I do use AI literally every day, all day, for all of my tasks. I know that many people, even organization-wise, they're wanting M365 Copilot Premium license. Is it now Copilot Premium? I don't know what's the title. They changed it 6 times. But anyway, just so that they can turn on like a facilitator. No, they to turn on the subscription. I turn on facilitator. I don't need recordings. I usually turn on subscription the facilitator, even on meeting data.
for transcripts.
Yeah, for transcripts, so that I can, collect data, have all of that. So I use WorkIQ. We use Cowork. I know that you use it significantly. So since Copilot, Cowork, I use the Researcher as well quite a lot. Researcher a lot. I use Copilot extensively, but with Copilot Cowork, man, it just exploded, right? In a couple of weeks, I don't think there is even a month now that, sorry, with the plugins, Copilot Cowork itself, it might be a month or
right?
two, yeah. It might be 2-3 months, but the plugins, when they added the plugins, it's just, so me and my colleagues or other employees, we just exploded in productivity. Especially what we can include, because sometimes customers are very, very visual, right? So you can discuss, you can show them diagrams, but still they will not, like you're doing now. But yes, I don't know what are you talking about, right? So they asked me some days. I was on a couple of days ago. I was on last week. I was in a meeting and I was discussing about in F&O about master data. This is a small example. So customer master, let's say product master, and I do have my documents. I have some of my Excels, that I have done way back. But then I said, all right, let me just visualize this. So I went to Cowork and I told him, hey, here's what I need. Green diagrams. Here are my stuff. Connect to the Dynamics 365. Get my examples. Use this plugin. Go to Fabric. So I generated, while I was on a meeting, a 30-page document. Unique 30-page document specified for their needs, right? Because from WorkIQ, I also know what they need and what they want, right? So I generated 30-page document, all in template, by the way. So I just on the end said, okay, this looks now good. Just put it in this template, and bam, and I was able to deliver to them. So they can.
Incredible.
Yes. So it was everything included, meaning you have explanation of how how the normalized database works, how are the connection, foreign keys, diagrams. Also, all of the Excels, I just put them inside Word document in landscape mode, mapping everything into one, and it's one deliverable. That would take at least a week or two of manual work of a very good consultant. Like technical and functional, because right, they need to identify. So I think performance boosting, huge. You don't have to depend, hey, this is not me. Send to the developer, send to this guy. Oh, that is not my role. Now everybody, as I said previously, we need to shift left and right. And it's boosting my performance across the board for sure, and everything.
So when you say moving left to right, you mean technical? Yeah, explain what you mean.
Right. So, sorry. Yes, I discussed with so many partners and friends here, so we are all like, what this means. I know that the big four partners are also a little bit scared about this because their business model is going to be, let's say, change. Technical people so that is maybe connected more with the other session, not the one that I'm doing with Andre, but the one that we'll do with Aurelian is how you can boost performance in development, like 20-fold. I'm not going 20%, like 20 times more. And we're gonna demonstrate this live. We created a nice demo for this conference, actually, and just say, hey, I want to do this. And developers, it's not that they're not gonna develop. It's not going to be that development that I'm a developer, 20 years technical person. You should not feel confident that you will develop everything manual. That is not going to happen. It's not ideal. The AI generation of code, it's not ideal. It never be ideal. But what is ideal at the end? It's something that you need to show performance. So if developer can sit and just orchestrate all of these tasks to agents that can generate code, then it can be fixings, right? Review the code. Then what is developers' work, right? If they don't develop. So that's why I meant shift a little bit left to the functional role where to understand, maybe in a little bit designer, right? How these things should work. And then functionals will move to I don't know, architects will be deleted. I will be left without job on the way. But yeah, everybody will shift a little bit on both sides. So the example that I showed you previously, you will not do that on your own. If it's a functional person, you will not sit there and just do table maps. You know what I mean? Like diagram stuff. Yeah, I can explain you, but here is the tables and mapping to someone else. Now you have the tools and there's no excuse. You can do it on your own. You don't have to wait for someone else. And it will be the other side. It will be similar on the other side. If you're technical, you need to understand you're developing something, a functionality that needs to correct to a sales order, to invoicing. You have your tools that you need to understand how that connects with your business. Maybe typically with F&O, but also how this solution that is designed in that particular project, why it should be designed like that, or why is it working? So you don't depend for someone else to answer. So everybody will need to move a little bit outside because we have these tracks now.
Yes.
They are very big tracks, especially in some organizations. But if we want to protect our jobs and be more productive, we have to a little bit delete those lines.
Yes. So I think it's a bit of a mindset shift of this.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a mindset shift. These are imaginary tracks, right? They're not written down anywhere, although they have been in some contracts. So this is my job. I will create FDDs. But now, yes, it's a mindset. Hey, you go and you have to execute it. There is no other reason. And there will be a limited time where we can do this because customers are catching up to understand this. Some are already there. Some are already there and they say, hey, you have not delivered this for a week. I went online with right and used my tools, and I was able to do this on my own in 1 day. And I don't have a clue in what you're doing. So how I'm able to deliver something, which might not be correct, to be honest, right? But they can at least understand something.
Yes.
Why you cannot do it. So customers themselves are going to ask us. So it's better that we cannibalize ourselves than waiting someone else to cut us.
Yes. Okay. I like that. Any advice for people to maybe step outside of their tracks, or so we talked about having the mindset shift. What else do you need, do you think?
I think on this mindset shift, you just need to go and test things, right? Because we see videos. I mean, you did a bunch of stuff, right? You're like exploding with content, which amazing work, by the way. But people need to really test on their own. They really test. If you don't have from your work a license, just try. I think there are organizations now allowing to purchase on your own, like a self-subscription, or just buy on your own. Just buy cloud, experiment, build something, try to see, so that you can actually realize what is happening, right? And many of even some people that they met with Microsoft, everybody is exploring, like everybody is trying some other tools so they can see what is the market. Everyone needs to test something. I think as part of the committee, we actually created one session, I think Jonas is doing, which is how to use Visual Studio Code as a functional consultant, right? Because Visual Studio Code, it's code, it's for development, but it's like, actually you can attach to this MCP server, and as a functional consultant, which is now the role that we say, it's the line's gonna go blurred. you can go there and actually do stuff. It's
Mhm.
with a couple of clicks. You don't have to develop, like really develop stuff. So I think people just need to go and really experiment with the tools that there are now.
Yes. Yeah.
Without that, it's impossible.
I really like that. I think that is a good takeaway. That you just need to get your hands dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Just get your hands dirty
Mhm.
finally, because if you're not, someone else is going to, and they will replace you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's a bit of a negative note to end on. But
Well, that's a real note to end on, isn't it? And you still have time until that happens. Really,
Yes,
we
yeah.
do still have time. People that were in the front lines, they were saying for this for a very
Mhm.
long time, but now the time is running out. So we
Yes,
really
yeah.
get to go there and try exploring
Yes,
and
yeah.
figure out how you can utilize these tools and make yourself more productive in whichever role you want.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be your existing role. Just go, test, execute, have your ideas, try to resolve your daily tasks, try to execute them with the tools that are there out of the box, and just try, see what works. Something will not work, something will work, and see, oh, okay, actually now I have idea how these things connect to each other.
Yes. Yeah. I like that. Good advice.
That's a wrap. I hope you really enjoyed this one, and huge thanks for Laze to taking the time to sit down with me and have this conversation. I really learned a lot and enjoyed it so much. You'll find the links to connect with Laze down below.